I regret waiting until the children grew up to divorce. I've wasted my life. I was 30 when Josh and I met. I'd been single for most of my life up until then, and by the time I turned 30, I decided relationships weren't for me. I'd never really wanted to get married, and I loved my job working in PR. But then I met Josh. We worked together, and he was very funny, interesting, and intelligent. He made me laugh. It started out as a friendship. Then, about 2 years in, we snogged at a Christmas party. 3 years later, we were married. It felt wonderful. I was marrying my best friend. Looking back, though, I've realized I never truly desired Josh. I really liked him, and I grew to love him because he's such a good man. But I never really physically desired him. I never felt that rush when he walked in the room. I never looked at him thinking, oh, look, there's my gorgeous, delicious husband. After a year or so, when I was 34, Josh asked if we could have a baby. I told him I would need to think about it. Part of me really didn't want a baby, but part of me knew Josh did. And I suppose, as a woman, I thought I ought to have a child. So I agreed. As soon as I was pregnant with our eldest son, though, I knew I would love motherhood. I had an easy pregnancy, and I just really enjoyed it. Josh looked after me with great, tender care. I loved the way my belly got bigger and how much I changed. I'd never imagined I'd want to be a mother this much. As soon as I saw Alexander, I fell in love with him. I loved him in a way I'd never loved anybody. I still love him in that way. I love all my children in that way. For the first few years, it was a very bonding experience. We were close. We were good parents together. I pretty quickly had 2 more children. My daughter is now 21 and my youngest son, 18. Josh took to fatherhood like a duck to water. He completely loved it. He got up in the night to change nappies. He would walk around the streets with our eldest son in a sling. He was simply magnificent. But as time went on, I began to realize I wanted something different to my marriage. My old feelings of wanting to be independent and wanting my own life resurfaced. This doesn't mean to say I didn't want to be a mother. My love for my children is unswerving and unconditional, but I was fading as a person. I was getting restless and sad. One day I realized I didn't love Josh. I stopped finding him physically attractive, so I avoided spending time with him if I possibly could. It was torture. I could see I'd married a good man, a good father and provider, but I actually didn't have proper feelings for him at all. By the time our eldest son was 10, I knew I wanted out of my marriage, but I also couldn't see any way out. I could see how much my children loved their father. They also loved our family unit. I knew it would break their hearts if we split up. So I made the decision to play at being one half of a happily married couple. I decided to wait until my youngest son was 18 before I left. It nearly killed me, squashing my emotions for so long. I had to monitor myself constantly to make sure I seemed happy. I didn't confide in anyone. I felt so ashamed and didn't want to make the feelings more real and difficult. I played my role so well, everyone thought we were the perfect couple, the wonderful family. I now realize that I did everyone, including myself, a disservice by not speaking up earlier on. When I did eventually tell the children that we were divorcing, the shock was so overwhelming that the unimaginable happened. They sided with their father. All they could see is that I had broken up the perfect family. It was as if I had turned into someone they didn't recognize. Josh was similarly shocked when I told him I wanted a divorce. He was so hurt, he told me he wouldn't lie to the children, and his side of the story was I changed my mind about our marriage out of the blue. I can see that's how it looked to him and everybody else. Nobody could believe it. My family and friends sided with Josh. I lost all my support networks. The kids were very protective of him, and I was the one who had to move out of the family home. Nothing went as I thought it would go. Suddenly, I was in a flat on the other side of town, and all my children were living with their father. My eldest son at university has rarely come back home since. I tried to explain everything to him once, but he said he didn't want to get involved. My daughter has totally sided with her father. They have a very close relationship. She didn't speak to me for a while. It took a year to get her to reply to my texts. My youngest son has taken it the best. He comes and stays with me and we hang out together. But again, he says he doesn't want to talk about it and is very defensive on his father's behalf. I feel very lost and lonely at times. I was completely wrong in thinking that my children would understand better when they were older. I shattered their lives. They feel their memories are fake and their whole childhood was a lie. They say they don't even know who I am anymore. They don't trust me. I hope things will repair, and I can see signs that they are. I'm actually happier for not being in my marriage, but I'm devastated at the turn it's taken with my children. I wish I'd been more honest. I should have left when they were younger. I think it would have been easier and they would have adjusted, and I would have been living a life that was far more authentic than the life I've ended up living.